Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. As we are about to begin tonight's satsang, please close your eyes, everyone. Clasp hands together. Meditate on the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord as we seek His blessings, guidance, and protection. And the spiritual masters. Ajnanatirmirandhasya Jnanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Barahapidam Natvaravapu Karnayo Karnikaram Vibhradvasa Kanakakapisham Vaijayantim Chamala Randhran Venu Radhad Sudhaya Purayan Gopavrindai Brindaranyam Swapadaramanam Pravishagita Kirti Namah Kamalana Bhaya Namah Kamalamaline Namah Kamalapādāya Namaste Kamalekshana Yo Brahmanam Viradhati Purvam Yo Vai Vedansha Prahinoti Tasmai Takhvang Hadevamatma Buddhi Prakasham Mumukshurvai Sharanamaham Prapadye. Boli Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. Priya Bhakti Samuday, Priya Sajjano Mahanubhav, dearest devotees of the Supreme Lord, the Divine Souls. First, let me say Radhe Radhe to each and everyone, and my pranam, my humblest prostrations to all of you here tonight. Such a rainy night, rainy day, rainy night. It is so wonderful to see so many of you braving the inclement weather to be here. And of course, this is itself a great blessing for all of us to brave all this inclement weather. Sometimes in life, we get many obstacles and obstructions, and how strong we are to overcome them. It's a test for us many times. Anyhow, I want to thank all of you for coming to be here tonight and joining us. We'll begin first by Bhajan, Kirtan. In the booklets you would have, please turn to page 1313, Bhajan number 19. Kripa karo बरसाने वाली तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी, कृपा कर।
तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी,
कृपा कर, कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
तेरा मन है कृपा का प्यारी, तेरा तन है कृपा का प्यारी।
तेरा मन है कृपा का प्यारी, तेरा तन है कृपा का प्यारी।
तेरी कृपा तो कृपा है प्यारी, तेरा कोप भी कृपा है प्यारी।
तेरी कृपा तो कृपा है प्यारी, तेरा कोप भी कृपा है प्यारी।
तेरी कृपा चाह बनवारी, तेरी कृपा की है बलिहारी।
तेरी कृपा चाह बनवारी, तेरी कृपा की है बलिहारी।
कृपा करो बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
कृपा करो बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
कृपा पर कृपा करे प्यारी, ऐसी कृपा पर वारी वारी।
कृपा पर
राधे
प्यारी, ऐसी कृपा कर वारी वारी।
जा पर टुक कृपा करे प्यारी, वाके पाछे डोले बनवारी।
जाके टूट कृपा
राधे
वाके पाछे डोले बनवारी।
सुनी कृपा का विरद प्यारी, तेरे द्वार भीड़ भारी प्यारी।
सुने कृपा का विरद प्यारी, तेरी द्वार वीर वारी प्यारी।
ओ कृपा कर, कृपा कर बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
कृपा करो बरसाने वाली, तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी।
को हो या न हो अधिकारी, सब पर कृपा करे प्यारी।
हो या ना हो अधिकारी, सब कृपा करे प्यारी।
मुझ पर कृपा करू प्यारी, तब जानू तू कृपालु प्यारी।
मुझ पर कृपा करो प्यारी, तब जानो तू कृपालु प्यारी।
तेरी कृपा पाके पिय प्यारी, बनी गए कृपालु प्यारी
तेरी कृपा बाटे पिया प्यारी गले गले है कृपालु प्यारी
ओ कृपा कर बरसाने वाली तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी
कृपा करो बरसाने वाली तेरी कृपा का भरोसा भारी
बोले बरसाने वाली की जय। We would have seen the topic for tonight's satsang, the greatness of bhakti, bhakti ki mahanata. To understand this, once there was a discussion between Gaurang Mahaprabhu, Lord Chaitanya, and one of his most intimate disciple, Ramananda Rai, who is Gaurang Mahaprabhu. In the year 1486, in the month of Phagun, on the full moon night, God, Bhagwan Shri Radha Krishna, descended in one form. They took one form and descended in this world. That descension took place in a place called Lauderdale in India. Very special descension. That descension is known as Gaurang Mahaprabhu or Lord Chaitanya. He didn't stay long in this world, he just stayed 48 years. He again revived the Bhakti movement, love in God and chanting the divine name of God, which had been quite lost at that time. Reviving that movement of the great part called Bhakti. Once he had a discussion. In the scriptures, many places, God and his supreme devotee, saint, they have a discussion. One asks a question or questions and the other one gives the answer. Both are all knowing. Saint is none different from God. Bhagwan Krishna says in Gita, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Chapter 10, verse 10, Gita. When someone attains God, Shri Krishna says, I give him everything. Complete knowledge, complete bliss, everything that Shri Krishna has, he gives to that soul. So they are one and the same. This is why Shri Krishna says in Bhagavad Mahapuran, Acharya mam vijaniyan navamanyet karhichit namartya buddhya suyet sarvadev mayo guru. 11 Canto, 17th chapter, 27 verse, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. Bhagwan Krishna says to Uddhav, know the saint, Acharya, one who has attained God, know him to be Shri Krishna himself. Mam Vijaniya, know him to be me, Shri Krishna, God. Do not see him as a material person. You cannot see his divinity, you don't have the right eyes. Do not see him as a material person. Do not use your material mind and intellect to understand him. And know that all forms of God resides in him. So Shri Krishna basically saying, the saint and God are one and the same. One who has attained God. So this is what happens. This is what happened in Gita. Shri Krishna and Arjun. Arjun is not an ignorant person. Arjun is the ascension of Naranarayan, topmost among saints. Yet he's pretending to be ignorant and asks the question we would ask. Same thing, Uddhav. Shri Krishna says there's no difference between Uddhav and him. But Uddhav is asking questions so that Shri Krishna would give the answer and we will learn. Here also, Gauranga Mahaprabhu being the ascension of the Supreme Lord himself is asking question to his most intimate disciple, Ramananda Rai, so that we will understand what is our goal in life. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu said to Ramananda Rai, what is the highest aim of all souls? What is the goal of life? Ramananda Rai quoted the Gita, Sve sve karmanya bhirataha sansiddhim labhate naraha. Chapter 18, verse 45, Gita. Ramananda Rai quoted the Gita and said, every human being must perform one's moral and ethical duties, dharma. Now, Gauranga Mahaprabhu said this is good, but performing one's moral and ethical duties, dharma, will only help one to attain heaven, swarga. Many people don't understand what is this place called heaven, what happens there. We think that when we will die, we should go to heaven. We think when our near and dear ones have died, that they have gone to heaven. Because we think it's a great place to go. We want to go there also. But according to Sanatan Dharma, it is not so. Bhagwan Shri Ram warns us in the Ramayana. He says, Ehi tan kar pal vishay Swarga swarg ant dukh dai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya in the Ramayana, this human body, very valuable. It is so valuable even Devatas, celestial gods, Agni, the god of fire, Indra, the king of heaven, the god of rain, Vayu, the god of wind, they're all praying and begging to get this thing, human birth. So valuable. So here God is saying, Shri Ram is saying to the residents of Ayodhya, this human body which is so valuable wasn't given to us to enjoy the senses, sensual pleasures, nor to go to heaven. Why? Swargahu swalp. Swalp means Very small, non-existent. In other words, there is no true happiness in heaven. It's only the happiness of this material world multiplied a number of times. And the worst part, ant dukkhadai, it ends in suffering. After you go to heaven, you will have to suffer afterwards. What does he mean? So Shri Krishna gives the answer in Gita. Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam kshine punye martyalokam vishanti evam tai dharmanupapanna gatagatam kama kama labhante. Chapter 9 verse 21 Gita. Here Shri Krishna says, when one performs dharma, as Ramanand Rai was saying, one should perform your dharma. Here Shri Krishna says, when you perform dharma, moral and ethical duties, etc., you acquire something called punya. Punya, spiritual merits. There are many, many classes of heaven. Many classes. Bhu, bhuvaha, swaha, maha, janaha, tapaha, satya. Many classes. So when you acquire this punya, it will determine which heavenly region you will go to and for how long. But when you go there, something happens. Shri Krishna says, kshine punya. As soon as you start enjoying the pleasures of heaven, the punya you perform to go there will start destroying. You use it, it starts getting less. You put money in the bank and you start taking out, it starts getting less. And one day it's going to finish. And then what will happen? Martyalokam vishanti, will be thrown out. And then what happens after that? The Vedas tell us. Ishta purtam manyamana varishtham nanyachheyo vedayante pramudha nakasya prishtete sukatena bhutimam lokam hintaram va vishanti. Mundak Upanishad, first Mundak, second Kan, 10th mantra. The Vedas say, the person who strives and wants to go to heaven and performs action to go to heaven is not only an ordinary fool, but the greatest fool, Pramudha. Because after you go there and enjoy and that punya is finished, what will happen? Hinataram va vishanti. You'll be thrown into lower forms of life. Remember, karmas become zero. Everything is finished, so we have to start all over again. The soul will be thrown into the womb of dog, cat, donkey, worm, tree, grass. So this is what Bhagwan Shri Ram means in the Ramayana, that it ends in suffering. Because we have to start all over again. So that's not the aim. We have been to heaven uncountable times. We have to come back here. So Gaurang Mahaprabhu says, tell me something better. Again, Ramanand Rai quoted the Gita. Yat karoshya dashnasi yat juhosya dasyat yat tapasasi kaunteya tat purushama darpanam. Chapter 9 verse 27 Gita. Ramanand Rai says to Gaurang Mahaprabhu, the highest aim of the soul is to offer everything, all his action, everything, to offer it to God. Again, Gaurang Mahaprabhu objected by saying that in this there's the idea that one can become free from bondage through the performance of action. Those who want to be free from bondage is fine, do it. But it's not the best. Tell me something better. He say out, Shresh Bhatai. So again, Ramanand Rai quoted the Gita. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braj. Chapter 18 verse 66 Gita. Renounce all dharma, all obligation, all duties, and take shelter in God alone, in Shri Krishna alone. This is the final teaching of the Gita. Here also Gaurang Mahaprabhu objected and said, these words were spoken by Shri Krishna to Arjun, who was afraid of fighting the war for the fear of killing his elders, teachers, relatives, friends, etc. Arjun, pretended to think or say that when someone is killed, that person is destroyed forever. He's identified with the body, as all of us do. We do not know who we are. That's why we fear death. Oh, I don't want to die. We do not understand or have the knowledge of who we are. We identify with the physical body. I am a Trinidadian, I am a Guyanese, I am American, I am Indian. I am a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, Jain. I am a Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I am a teacher, a doctor, engineer, garbage man. So many titles. I am Ramesh. I am Mary. These are all titles of the body. But we're not the body. Body belongs to us. Whatever belongs to me cannot be me. For example, I have a house, I say my house. I have a muruka, I say my muruka. Do I ever say I am the house, I am the muruka? No. If I do, then people will say he's completely mad. So in the same way, my body, we say, my body is paining me, my head is hurting, my finger got cut. So my body. So this body belongs to me. So I'm not the body. Then what am I? I am the soul, the Atma. And about the soul, Shri Krishna says in Gita, Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano nahanyate hanyamane sharire. Chapter 2, verse 20, Gita. Shri Krishna says the Jivatma, the individual soul, who we are, never takes birth, nor does it die. Nor having come into existence does it cease to be, because it is unborn, eternal, and most ancient. It is not destroyed, even when the body is destroyed. Indestructible. We don't die. We just change clothes. Change clothes. Shri Krishna says, Vasansi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grihnati naro parani tatha sharirani vihaya jirna nyanyani sanyati navani dehi. Chapter 2, verse 22, Gita. We all wear clothes for some time and then you discard it. Some wear the clothes even once and I'm not going to wear it again. Some wear it for a while and then discard. Some wear it till it's very old. But eventually we discard it and we put on others that are new. In the same way, Shri Krishna says, the embodied soul discards bodies and takes on others that are new. We just change clothes. And how many kinds of clothes there are? In the world, a person may have 10 saris, 10 dress, 20 suits, 50 dress, okay. That's all. How many clothes there are? 8.4 million types. 8.4 million. Sri Ram tells us, he says to the residents of Ayodhya, in the Ramayana, चारि लाख चौरासी योनि भ्रमट यह जीव अविनाशी जय आकर 4,84,000 योनि भ्रमट यह जीव अविनाशी. God, Bhagwan Shri Ram is saying to residents of Ayodhya, the Jivatma, the individual soul, is avinashi, indestructible, eternal, beginningless. But it keeps rotating in 8.4 million forms of life, according to its action. There's a way to finish it. This is why we have been given human birth, that we don't have to come back here and suffer. But we have to do the thing which will stop it. We haven't done it so far. So, when one identifies with the body, he thinks, I am dying, I am killing, or I can get killed. But if you realize I am the soul, the Atma, then there's no such fear. So, Arjuna is being ignorant or pretending to be. He doesn't have true knowledge. So what is the goal, Gaurang Mahaprabhu says, of one who already has true knowledge? In other words, that I am the soul, the Atma. Again, Ramananda Rai quoted the Gita. Brahma bhutah prasannatmanasho chatina kankshati sama sarveshu bhuteshu mad bhaktim labate param bhaktya mam vijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvutah tatu mam tattvatu gyata vishati taranantaram. Chapter 18, verse 54 and 55, Gita. In the first tree, Arjuna was afraid of dharma. Ramanand Rai was quoting the fear of dharma. In this, there is no dharma, but it is mixed with gyan, the part of knowledge. Here he said, the highest aim of the individual soul is to do bhakti, devotion to God, mixed with the part of gyan, knowledge, that attains the formless absolute Brahman. So the fourth was also cancelled, rejected. Now Ramanand Rai gives the fifth. Gyane prayasamudapasya namanta eva jivanti sanmukharitam bhavadiyavartam sthane sthita Shrutigatam tanuvang manobhir ye prayasho jita jito pyasitaistilokhyam. Bhagavad Mahapuran, 10th canto, 14th chapter, 3rd verse. Brahma. After Brahma realized who Shri Krishna was, Brahma tested Shri Krishna. He didn't recognize him to be the Supreme Lord. He stole all the cows and the cowhoods, the boys, and hid them in a cave. Put them in a trance, samadhi. Then Shri Krishna himself became all the cows and the cowhoods. Eventually, Brahma realized that Shri Krishna was Supreme Brahm, the Supreme Lord. And he fell at the feet of Shri Krishna and started glorifying him. In this verse, Brahma is saying, pure devotion, pure bhakti, unobstructed by the desire for moksha, liberation, is the highest aim of the individual soul. There's nothing higher. Dhanur grihitau panisharam mahasram sharam yupasa nishitam sandhayit ayam yatadbhavagatena chetasa laksham tarevaksharam brahma saumya Ved. The Vedas say, the Upanishads, the most important section of the Vedas are called Upanishad. The Vedas are saying the Upanishads are a bow and bhakti, devotion to Shri Krishna, is the arrow. What we have to do is to focus our mind on God, Shri Krishna, by pulling the arrow of devotion, bhakti. Yathagni mamalam jahati dhmatam punah swam bhajate charupam atma cha karma nushayam vidhuya mad bhakti yogena bhajatyatho mam. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 Canto, 14th chapter, 25th verse. There's a condition for knowing God. The only way we can become free from this Maya, we have to know God. The Vedas say, Tameva viritvat mrityumeti nanya pantha vidyate yanai. Shweta Shvataro Upanishad chapter 3 verse 8. This Ved mantra is saying, only by knowing God, Shri Krishna, can the Jivatma, the individual soul, become free from Maya. There is no other way. No other way. So we have to know God, or else we'll keep rotating as we have been doing from uncountable lifetimes in 8.4 million forms of life. To finish it, to stop it, we have to know God. And what is the condition for knowing God? Nirmal man jana so mohi pava mohi kapat chal chidra na bhava. God, Shri Ram is saying to Sugriv in the Ramayana, only those who are pure in heart, pure mind, can know God, see God, attain God. He says, I cannot tolerate deception, deceit, fraud. So we have to make the heart, the mind pure. The Bible also says, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Pure heart. So how are we going to make the heart, the mind pure? So this verse in Bhagavad Mahapuran, 11 Canto, 14 chapter, 25th verse, Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, gold, Hem means gold. Gold in its original form has a lot of dirt, impurities. How is that gold purified of its dirt, impurity? It is heated in fire. So Shri Krishna says to Uddhav, just as gold, when heated in fire, becomes purified of its dirt, impurities, glows and attains its pure form, in the same way, only when we shed tears of selfless love, bhakti, to Shri Krishna is the heart, the mind purified. There is no other way. One medicine, bhakti, shedding tears of selfless love for God, for Shri Krishna. No yajna, no karma, no jnana, no yoga, only bhakti. Only bhakti. Even Jagat Guru Shankaracharya, who is preaching the philosophy of Advaita, the formless aspect of God, he is saying to his own, he's teaching his own mother, Vishuddhayati hinantaratma Krishna padam bhoja bhakti mrite. Jagat Guru Shankaracharya. Jagat Guru Shankaracharya is preaching, teaching his mother that without bhakti to Shri Krishna, without practicing bhakti to Shri Krishna, God with a form, the heart, the mind cannot be purified. Impossible. Lord Kapil, one of descension of Shri Krishna, says to his mother Devahuti in the Bhagavad Mahapuran, Etavaneva lokesmin punsam nishreyaso deya tivrena bhakti yogena mano mayarpitam sthiram. Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, 3rd Canto, 25th chapter, 44th verse. He says, the highest aim of the individual soul is the union of his mind with Shri Krishna through bhakti, through the path of love, the path of bhakti, devotion. Therefore, the Narad Bhakti Sutra says, Trisatyasya bhakti-deva gariyasi, bhakti-deva gariyasi. The path of bhakti, love in God, is superior in the past, in the present, and in the future. Therefore, tasmat saiva grahya mumukshubhi, Narad Bhakti Sutra. If one wants to become liberated from the world, he must do bhakti. Nothing else, bhakti. Naham vasami vaikunthe yoginam hridaye nacha mad bhakta yatra gayanti tatta tishtami narada. Adi Puran. God is saying to Naradji, his great devotee, Narad, you want to find me? Don't look in Vaikuntha. Don't look in the heart of the yogis and munis and rishis. Where would you find me? Mad bhakta yatra gayanti. Where my bhakta? No. Not everybody, not where Lata Mangeshkar is singing or Anup Jalota. No. Where my bhakta, those who love me. Shri Krishna is making it clear here. Where my bhakta, my devotee, those who love me, are chanting my glories, my name, etc., there you will find me. Mad bhakta. Kagbasundji says to Garuji Maharaj in the Ramayana, Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Bolo Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Oh, sab kar mat Khagnayak eha Kariya Ram Pad Pankaj neha. Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Oh, Sakha Param Paramaarth Kariya Ram Pad Pankaj neha. Bolo
Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Ram, Siya Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Sab karmat khagnayak eha Kari Ram Pad Pankaj neha. It is a conclusion of all the various scriptures and the saints, where whatever is spiritual, Sab karmat is a conclusion. The ultimate thing is to do what? Kari Ram Pad Pankaj neha. The word neha means love, to have love for the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. Kari Sakha Param Paramarth Ehu. There are 4 traditional aims of human life. Dharma, Arth, Kam, Moksha. Dharma, desire for righteousness, to go to heaven. Arth, desire for wealth. Kam, desire for pleasure. Moksha, desire for liberation. Here the Ramayana, Kak Basundaji is rejecting these 4 and says there's another one which is highest. There's a 5th. Sakha Param Paramartha Ehu. There's a 5th which is the highest. And that is Kari Rama Pad Pankaja Nehu. Again, Nehu means love. To have love for the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. To have bhakti. Bhakti. God loves those who love Him so much that He says to Kak Basundaji in the Ramayana, Ati neech prani mohi pran priya asmamvar bol Ram 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 Raja Ram 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 bol Ram 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 Raja Bhaktivant ati neechahu prani mohi pran priya asamamavani. God is saying, what pleases God? What makes Him happy? How much money we have? What status we have in life? What position, which family we are born in? How much education? How handsome we are? How smart we are? No. He says someone can be the lowest of the low. Ati neechahu prani. Neech means low. Ati means extremely. The lowest of the low. In other words, there's someone called a chandal. Dog, he's the flesh of a dog. But if he has love for God, if he loves God, God is saying, He is saying, His own words, that He's dearer to me than my life. If He has love for me. God only looks to see how much love we have for Him. That's all He cares about. Nothing else. On the other hand, Bhakti hina biranchi kin hoi sab jivahu samapriya mohi sohi. If one doesn't have love for God, doesn't have bhakti, God says he may be biranchi, Brahma, my son, Brahma. But if he doesn't have love for me, then he is nothing but an ordinary soul to me. All he cares about, bhakti, love, pray, that's all. Nothing else. The Mahabharata says, Vede Ramayane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tatha Adhav Madhye Tatha Chante Haris Sarvatra Giyate. Mahabharata. The Vedas, the Ramayana, the Puranas, the Mahabharata. In all these scriptures, Adhav, the beginning, Madhya, the middle, and the end, they all recommend only one thing. Haris Sarvatra Giyate. Bhakti, love for the Supreme Love, Lord, love for Shri Krishna. This is the highest. There's nothing higher. I'm looking at the time because I don't want to go too long and it's a rainy night. We start a little bit late. But it's important that we understand how important this path, Bhakti, is. In the Ramayana, a lot of people say, I don't know Ved, I don't know Gita, I don't know Bhagavad. I know Ramayana. Okay, Ramayana. In the Ramayana, Tulsidas Ji's Ramayana, once God, in the age of Treta Yuga, when the Lord descended as Sri Ram, he stayed 11,000 years in Ayodhya. Once in that 11,000 years, he called everyone in Ayodhya and he gave a lecture. He gave a lecture. Many things he said, wonderful things in that lecture. One of the things he said, look, we all want happiness. Our aim in life is to attain happiness. Everything we do, no matter how opposite and how contradictory it may seem to be, is for one thing only, happiness, because we are a fraction of happiness, fraction of God. God is happiness, happiness is God. So Sri Ram is saying in the Ramayana, जो परलोक यहाँ सुख जाऊं, सुनी मम वचन हृदय हृद गाऊं। जय राम श्री
राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम
सरल सुखद यह मार्ग भाई, भक्ति मोरी पुराण श्रुति गाई। जय राम श्री राम
जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम।
He says, if you want to get happiness, if you really want happiness, we do want happiness, Jao paralok yaha sukha chahau. If you want to get happiness here, while you're here also, and after you leave here, to suni mama bachana hridaya didhagahu. Listen to my words very deep in your heart, very firmly. Listen carefully. Sarala sukhada yeh marg bhai. The path to find that happiness is very easy, saral, or sukhad. It gives happiness while you're doing it. The path, Mori Bhakti Puran Shruti Gai, the path of bhakti, of love in God, which all the Vedas and all the scriptures glorify. He further says, Kahu Bhakti Path Kavana Prayasa Jogana Mak Japa Tapa Upavasa. What is so difficult in the path of bhakti? What effort you have to make? There is no yoga, no yajna, yoga namak japa, no jap, no tapasya, no austerities, no puja, nothing. Just to love. Only one thing is required. What is that? Sarala sukhad. Sarala swabhav. Naman kutilai yatha labh santosh sadai. He says, simple heart, pure heart. There should not be any crookedness. Sarala swabhavana mana kutilai. Kutilai means crookedness. No deception, no deceit, no fraud. Simple heart, like a little child. No fault finding. No looking at this one and that one. Trying to think about myself. Humility, tolerance. Yatha labha santosha sadai. And to be contented with whatever you have. To be contented with whatever you have. This is all it requires. No effort, no. This is why, so the path of bhakti, time is very limited. So this is the superiority. Briefly tonight, I'm describing how great, the greatness of the path of bhakti, the path of devotion. We wanted to show also why it is preferred to the other paths. We hear about Gyan, we hear about Karma, we hear about Yoga, etc. But time is limited, so cannot go tonight. I will just want to sing a couple lines of another bhajan, and then we'll go from there. So in the book you have, turn to page 25. Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe
Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda,
Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Bhaj man yugal charan arvinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Bhajo man yugal charan arvinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Oh bhaju bhaju berna karumati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Bhajo bhajo veerana karumati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Don't delay. We have no guarantee in this life, devotees. Do not delay. Give up all chala chanda, all deception, all deceit, all fraud, and then do bhakti. Then it will happen. Taju chala chanda, bhajumati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Taju
Chanda chanda bhajumati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Hari Guru Manu Ek Mati Manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda. Hari
Guru Manu Ek Mati Manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Oh Radhe Radhe Govinda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Radhe Radhe Govinda bhajo, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Teri gati mati rati mati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
Teri gati mati rati mati manda, Radhe Radhe Govinda.
O Ras karat do sak sakhi brinda, Ras karat do sang sakhi brinda. गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
रास करत दो संग सखी वृंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
ओ राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
आत्मा की आत्मा मति मंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
आत्मा की आत्मा मुझे मंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
ओ दो कृपालु है अतिमति मंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
अधिमति मंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
ओ राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
ओ राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
राधे राधे गोविंदा राधे राधे गोविंदा
बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय राधा रानी की जय श्रीमद सद्गुरु सरकार की जय 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 श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे जय जय श्री राधे